Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Embrace Live. Hope everybody's doing well. Enjoyed the kind of bit of sunshine that we've had, although it's been a bit stormy here in Teesside today. We've had a bit of thunder, and lightning. Very, very frightening, as they say. So I hope everybody's doing well. I just want to start out by saying hello to a few people who've joined us online already. It's always good to have regulars, and certainly Margaret, you've become a regular. It's good to have you with us. Good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. Paul and Tony and others as well. I know that tonight we are continuing our series on worship leading. So we've had, this is actually, I was counting up, this is the 11th week that we've had of Embrace Live now. That's gone really quickly. So that must be a positive thing, must be enjoying ourselves. And so thank you for those of you who've been tuning in regularly. But if you haven't caught other episodes, then of course they're always available for you on the Embrace Church Facebook page or on the YouTube channel. Or look, just search for Embrace Church on YouTube, and then you can see all of our video content that we've got on there for you. Okay, so we've started out with, kind of my story series when we first kicked off Embrace Live 11 weeks ago, and we've had a number of people featured, and they've talked about their own personal stories about how they came to make a decision to follow Jesus for themselves, and what impact that's had on their lives. Okay, and then we've just, the last few weeks, we've had a new series start where we were talking with worship leaders from around the region, really. Good friends of mine, and obviously I'm fortunate to know a number of people in different churches around the area and beyond. And so I've just been basically calling my worship buddies, I'm calling them. So we've had Mark Miller from Stockton Parish Church, really good episode, check that one out. Fantastic fellow, doing loads of good stuff over at Stockton Church, Parish Church, that is. Last week we had Helen from Tees Valley Community Church, amazing woman of God, and, massive respect for her because of the job that she does in education as well. So if you didn't check that out last week, then you can always catch up with those. Tonight, we have got... Well, we did plan this to have two people join us, both from Embrace Church. We're both, really, count ourselves lucky to have them as part of the Embrace Church family. And that is Liz Connolly and Hannah Jackson, who are both involved in the Embrace Church worship team. Now, sadly, Liz has been called, shift pattern has changed, and Liz has been called into work, so she's not able to make it tonight. So we're really, disappointed not to have her with us. Liz, we miss you. Hope that work shift goes okay. But, it's not a booby prize and not a second-rate kind of thing. We've got, Hannah is able to join us, and I'm just looking over here on my other monitor as usual, and she's ready and waiting. We're ready to kind of go. And so, if you caught the My Story episode that Hannah and I did, in fact, it turned out it was planned to be one episode, but it turned out to be two. Because what's not unusual is that, Hannah and I can talk a bit. And, those of you who know us already, you're kind of agreeing at this point. One thing that we do really well is talk. And so actually it was muted that we turned those couple of episodes into a Netflix mini-series. I think it was Philip who said that, which I thought was a really good shout. So we are going to try and keep it to one episode tonight. I hope so, because I've got other people planned in for the next week or two as well. So I'm going to kind of just, bring Hannah in a moment. But before we get there, I want us to be, as always, interactive, folks. So I can see people are making comments already. Thanks, Paul. Already, he says this, he's guessing that this is going to be part one. We're going to try and just keep it to one episode tonight. We'll do our very, very best. So we do want to make it interactive. So we do want to hear your comments and your questions throughout, and we want to respond to those. Otherwise, it will be, Hannah and I just having a coffee together and having a chat, and occasionally making reference to other people joining in. Be strong and courageous, Joshua 1:9. So we do want to hear your comments. Please, please, please ask questions. The harder the better, because we want to be challenged, don't we, Hannah? I'm just looking on the monitor to see if she's agreeing. She's nodding, so that's a good sign. And 2 thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. So that mean if you've got a really difficult question, then Hannah wants to answer that for you tonight. All right. So this series is all about worship leading. Okay. Let me just kind of give the context again. Obviously, as Embrace Live, we want to be relevant. We want to be accessible, and we want to be aware of that. Actually, you might not be. If you're tuning in, you might have stumbled across this Embrace live stream, or being able to pick it up and kind of on demand as you want to, and you might even not even do the church thing. So we don't want to. We want to try and avoid the kind of churchy speak, and so we want to be as accessible as possible. And when we talk about worship, often when people are talking about worship in church, it often means the musical side of things, whether that's playing an instrument, whether that is singing individually as a worship team, whatever that looks like, or as a congregation, the people gathered in a church doing the church thing. And we want to kind of focus on those aspects. But I want to make it clear that actually this is not just for musicians, all right? Even if you are non-musical and you want to wonder what's happening in all these worship teams and what's it why is it so special? What's it mean to be involved and using these things, and how do you prepare, and the practical kind of stuff? Because a lot of work goes into preparing for worship in a church service kind of setting. It doesn't just happen. Okay, and there's a lot of kind of work that happens in the background. So please ask the questions. Get practical if you want to. Get ask some really tough questions, like I say. And Hannah give those 2 thumbs up, so she's definitely up for answering those difficult questions. I've just looked down on the monitor again. She's looking a bit awkward and squirming a little bit. That's good. Well done, folks. We've got her in the right position already. Okay, so he's the opener for our worship leading season, and then I'm going to bring Hannah in to join us. Here we go.
Praise the Lord, all my soul. Forget not what he's done. Forget not what he's done. Praise the Lord, evermore. He surrounds you with his love. Surrounds you with his love. Yeah. He surrounds you with his love.
So before I bring Hannah in, just another shout out really for the countdown music. If you've noticed the titles that we have there and the opener we had for the worship leading series there, it's a group of people called Taking Ground Music. And Taking Ground is actually a group of church. Embrace is part of that family, but they've got some amazing, talented, wonderful people, and I'm really honoured and pleased to know many of them individually, who produce some fantastic worship music. Now, worship music is basically music where the lyrics point and to God really, and thank Jesus for all that he has done and does, continues. So, and expresses our hearts and our, in a relationship, right? Okay. And so, really check them out. Taking Ground Music. Just do a search on for Google and you'll hit their website, and they are available as well in obviously things like Spotify and everything else like that. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring in Hannah. Here she is. Hello, Hannah. How are you?
Hello, yeah, I'm good. When I gave the thumbs up earlier, I actually meant for Dave, for you to answer them, not me.
Well, see,
I'll just read them. That's
all right.
all I'll do.
You see, I'm the host. See, so I'm the one who can click the buttons and and that kind of thing. But I'll tell you what, we'll make a deal. We'll fend them off together. We'll see what we both think. So,
Yeah.
folks, look, we want to hear from you. Again, just want to say that please post your questions and let us know your thoughts and things like as we go through. So, Hannah, some people might not have caught episodes 1 and 2. This is episode 3,
Part
the
3, Part
revenge.
4.
Yeah, this is like we're getting that many. It's like the Fast and Furious. It's getting parts. 76 or whatever. Or Police Academy 12, or whatever we're up to. So just very quickly, because we said we'd keep it to one episode, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, for a living kind of stuff, in non-churchy stuff, and then a little bit of church stuff. All right, just a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm Hannah. I'm 25. Oh, that makes me feel sick when I say that. I'm 25, and
Yeah, it makes me feel sick as well. Thanks. Yeah, I'm double that. Yeah, nearly.
I'm pretty sure last time I was only 24. I'm now 25.
Yeah,
um, I'm a deputy manager at a nursery in the town where I live,
yeah,
and I'm just me. I'm a like loud, bubbly person. That's just
yeah,
who I am.
yeah,
For hobbies, I like doing singing, I like doing dancing, socializing, like like to socialize, and that's who I am. And then
yeah.
within the church, I obviously am a part of the worship team, and I lead worship. I do a bit of hosting, and I do a little bit of preaching. So that's kind of, and a bit of kids work. So I do everything. No, I
Pretty much.
don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, it's it's clear that when if you want, if you haven't already, check out the first or the two episodes that we've done previously about the My Story, because it's clear how well, I like the phrase actually that Helen used last week. She has a musical soul, she said, and I think you strike me definitely as a person who has a musical soul. All right,
I
is
would
that?
say so.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
if you Hannah is one of many of the Von Trapp Jackson family, Von Jackson, available for wedding, funerals, bar mitzvahs, bookings, and things like that. So, who kind of music features a lot in their makeup, really, and it was clear when they had, if you want to know a little bit more about Hannah's kind of story, then check out the previous episodes. But we did get on to talking a bit about worship within that as well. All right. And what I really admire you for, Hannah, is actually your boldness. Okay, you said you're bubbly, and that means you're not shy and you're
No,
bold.
definitely not shy.
Okay.
Definitely not shy.
So kind of like Hannah is definitely this, and I love how unashamed she is of her relationship with Jesus, and living that out. And I think, just to be clear, because I've said this in the other episodes, and I want to make this clear as well, that worship is a lifestyle. If we look in the Bible and what it says about worship, worship is not just about singing songs and making music, although that's a big part of it. It can be. But it is about living your life and everything being an act of worship to God in response of what Jesus has done on the cross, and what the Holy Spirit and God the Father does for us continually in our relationship with Him. And that's really evident if you check out the previous episode with so obviously there I was stumbling over my words a little bit there, because I'm also monitoring over here the comments that are coming in. We've already got Mama Jackson on already, and she's away commenting. Ladies and gentlemen, I did try and persuade Mama Jackson, Jill, to come on as a last minute kind of replacement for Liz, unfortunately, who couldn't make it for work. But Jill decided that she didn't want to do that, and because she's a bit shy, which I find that hard to believe. So obviously you can see, they'll put it on screen again. Mummy thinks that she agrees that you're not shy either. There we go. And I think the whole world, or everybody who's ever met you, Hannah, will agree with that also. That's all right. That's good. We like bubbly, we like loud, and we like to... All right? And just to let everybody know, I'll put on the screen, Jill's actually there, you can see, apologising that she decided to decline our very kind offer to join us on our wonderful episode tonight. But there we go. That's all right.
I actually think Mama Jackson needs to, because when it comes to worship, she's got the biggest journey, experience, whatever you want to call it, from playing an organ in a church, in a chapel, to playing in for festival, a festival and stuff. So I definitely think Mama Jackson needs to come on one week and talk about it.
All right, okay. So the challenge has been thrown out there, Mrs. Jill. Maybe we could squeeze it in or wherever like that. But what I can do, which I've never done before, is I can actually phone people and live and we
Love
might
this.
we might try and do something like that. We shall see. We shall see. Jill is now, obviously, I shouldn't have said that live, because she is now, kind of hiding her phone and will, deliberately not pick up. So that's just completely pointless now. Ruined that anyway. We've also got Papa Jackson joining in with his comments and just giving you a nice little friendly warning that there we go, you're dead. All right. So now we've kind of got the family dynamics and relationships and things in there. So I know that I've been trying to kind of cover lots of different aspects of worship, really, and the kind of chat has just kind of flowed previously, and I'm very confident it'll do that tonight and so on. And I've kind of sent out, I know I've sent out to other people who've been involved, different areas that we kind of talk about that were summarised in the little worship opener video that we had there. So in terms of like serving the church, using the gifts, how to get into that point of using them regularly, how do you use them, what kind of things as well, because I know that you're not just involved in church music, you do, you said you like to dance and you do a lot of kind of theatre side of things as well, don't you?
Yeah,
Tell us a bit about that.
So I've well, since I can remember, kind of did ballet kind of growing up, and then stopped, and then I got involved with a group called Natural High, which was over in Willerton Methodist Church. And they kind of we did singing, we did dancing, we went around like nursing homes, singing, went around different churches, singing and dancing. We would do like summer shows and stuff. And then we decided to start doing musicals. And then I played the part of Oliver Twist in, I want to say 2007. I played the part of Oliver Twist, which I always find hilarious that I was Oliver, because anybody who knows me, I'm not skinny and scrawny, and I like me food. And then obviously, and then Oliver it was just like, I just found it funny. And then,
are you any good at pickpocketing though?
Well, I practiced.
Yeah. Dipper Jackson, she's not in the trade.
I had to get locked in a coffin. I hated that. I absolutely hated that bit.
Yeah.
Had to get when they had. Oh no, I didn't like that at all. And then did things like did different musicals through that. And then I kind of, when I was before that, when I was like 13, I had some friends up in Concert who were a part of something called MAD, called Music and Dance. So I kind of joined them, did singing and dancing, did different shows again, went around churches doing dancing and singing and stuff. And to this day, I'm still a part of them. I've gone from being one of the people who does who joined in to now teaching the singing and dancing alongside some of my best friends. So that's kind of what I also do pantomime. I'm a part of a lot of groups. I also do pantomimes for the societies as well as musicals as well. I'm in Sister Act next year. I'm in a pantomime in January. I do a lot of music stuff.
It sounds like, as well as being, working as well, and obviously the wonderful, the family. Actually, I'm just going to put this on screen. As Rachel said there, that the Jacksons, and we're not talking about Michael and the rest of them, the original, but these Jacksons that we know are such an amazing family. I think that's that's true, and many people would agree with that. And obviously, I know that you are involved in many of these different kind of theatre productions and things, but so's Beck's your sister, and
I do it alongside my sister.
Yeah.
So it's the pair of us. I always say she's better than me, but yeah, it's the pair of us. We do it. Ugly Sister or Cinderella. That's
I was just going to put that on screen here. I don't know if I don't. Is that parenting 101? You're encouraging your kids or something? Ugly Sister. You got dad saying you're going to be dead, and then you got mum saying Ugly Sister or Cinderella.
We've got a hierarchy in the family, so it goes: the sister's the firstborn, I'm the favourite one, and then Matthew's the golden child. There you go.
Right, okay.
There
Matthew's your younger brother, isn't he? So
yeah.
Who's not a front of stage kind of guy, but he's like your dad who does a bit of both. Very Matty's very technical and does behind the stage kind of lighting, and he's very talented that way as well. So that's good, and there's lots of different opportunities.
Yeah, so like when we do the pantomimes, it's actually like a full family occasion.
Yeah.
So my mum is the backstage and dresses the dame and does all the quick changes. And then you've got me and Rebecca who's on stage, and then you've got my dad and my brother who do like the sound, who does like the lights or like do stage crew and stuff.
Yeah.
So it is a full family affair. We all do something. We're all involved in it somehow. So
I'm trying desperately to resist the urge to do the pantomime jokes and all of that.
Just
kind
do
of
it.
stuff. No, I'm trying not to. It's quality viewing. But do you know what? I've always fancied the opportunity of playing a pantomime dame. I was sort of like Wishy Washy or something like that. I think I'd be brilliant at that. I'd love a big wig.
I think you would.
Okay.
I think you would be class.
I think I've got my own fake chest going on anyway. I'm growing that, so I think I've got the physique for it as well. So, yeah. Any opportunities, I might audition at some point. Okay, just to say that Auntie Joy, here we go. It's getting a full family affair. Obviously, we have got other people viewing in other than like the extended Jackson, Kipling, Carver kind of family hierarchy / mafia. And so, obviously, she's jumped in there with some of these, and I think that's what we're going to get now. But actually, Paul's just suggesting there the Jackson Theatre Company. I think that's an absolute winner, So it's fair to say that you've got a musical soul, you're bubbly, and you enjoy kind of that performing side of things. Is that?
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. The reason why I say that performance side of things is I want to kind of just relate that then to, a couple of conversations we've had with Mark and Helen last week is taking your musical ability and your dancing and acting and everything else like that and the performance aspect, but how does that then relate to the church context, all right? And where we talk a little bit about, is it a performance? Is it not? What's the motivation in different ways? How do you distinguish between the two? How do you deal with both? Because I know obviously you're heavily involved in both.
So to me, it is completely different. Performing on a stage and singing for church to me it's completely different. If you ask me, like, I always say I can't sing very well. I always people always tell me off because I always go, oh, I can't sing very well. Oh, my sister Rebecca, no, she's a better singer than me. No, I can harmonise. I'm a harmoniser. So I don't actually have like the greatest self-confidence in my singing voice,
Right.
or even in like me performance skills in general. But when it comes to worship, it's completely different because it's not a performance. You have to feel them, like you feel the music and it comes from your heart, it comes from your soul, it comes from within inside you. Whereas when you're performing, you stick a smile on your face and you do this rehearsed kind of thing that you might have done for months and months.
Right. Okay.
And you're there to entertain people.
Yeah.
Rather at church, you're not there to entertain people.
Right. Okay. So, is it possible then you're talking about sticking on the smile, so then to kind of fake it, when you're doing your theatre productions and like you say, it's a performance, it's rehearsed, it's things like that, but you're saying that's completely different to when you're in a church context and leading people in worship. But that actually there's an importance of integrity there and actual reality of how you are, and like you say, coming from the heart. Is that a summary? Is that fair? What you think?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is something I struggled with for a while. Was that crossover of what was worship and what was a performance, and I was at the time I was at church in Sunderland and I was part of Bethany City Church. I was at university, and I made Bethany City Church my home for actually 5 years. and my house group were going, like a house group is, for people who don't know, just a bunch of people who come together once a week, have teas and coffees and do some Bible readings and discussions and stuff like that.
Okay.
So my house group came together and we were talking about things like spiritual gifts, things that God gives us. So we studied through this like little booklet each week about different things, and it made me actually stop wanting to do performing arts for a long time. And for a very long time, I didn't do performing arts. I didn't do like the big shows or anything like that. I focused on using singing and music for God. I still did a bit of MAD, which is, like I said, was the music and dance. I still did a bit of singing and a bit of dancing there, but we only did like one show. It's not like I was doing a week's worth of shows. I wanted to just use my singing and my talent for God. I didn't want to do it to please other people. So it was actually something I really had to battle and find myself, really. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of it's kind of how it kind of all came about.
It's funny, and thanks for the being honest with us, because it was funny to hear you say that you didn't feel very confident in your singing voice, and yet you've just told us just how involved you are with lots of different kind of theatre productions and things like that, and how how did you get into it then? How did you get into the worship side of things in church? What was that journey like? Not the theatre stuff, performing arts, but kind of how the start, and because it sounds like you come from a family who were all making music from the moment you kind of entered the world.
No, we were making music from like me entering the world. That is 100% like that's how my life was. Um, my mum and dad, big shout out to Gaz and Jill right now. Um, used to have a band who would go around different churches. Mum, dad start commenting because you know the story better than I do. But I used to sing on the stage with them,
How
and
old?
I
How old were
wasn't
you?
really young, from being a tiny dot. They used to go out, like, to different churches, and I used to fall asleep on the front of stage. They used to do another festival called Easter People.
Oh
They
yeah.
did like they used to play there, and um they told us a story because I was too young. I must have been only like 3 or 4. They said that I used to fall asleep on the front of stage when like the preachers were on and stuff, just just because. But yeah, they used to have a band, and I must have been. I remember being 4 and like singing. And I was only as an adult that I realised my microphone was never turned on. But but
But they gave you the
yeah,
opportunity, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I was always kind of actively involved in worship. And then actually Dave, it was you who as a teenager you said, do you want to join the church worship team back in the Vine, back in Stockton Riverside College.
Did I?
So it was actually you yeah, yeah. So it was actually you who then um got me involved in that as a teenager and stuff.
Yeah, going back a
So
while.
go on. I
Because you're so
know.
old. You've already told you just how old you are. You can't believe you're 25 or whatever it is.
No, I
Yeah.
can't. I don't
Okay.
like saying it. I'm nearly 50.
Not quite.
So
Not quite. So, so you were fortunate in the sense that mum and dad had the band and they were visiting different churches, and so you kind of were growing up with that, which was great. Slightly different to my context because actually I don't have a musical family. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only one who was kind of was playing an instrument. Learned to play a guitar when I was about 15 or so, 16. I'm thankful to my mum and dad who actually chatted with a guy at the church we were going to as a family then, and he showed me kind of few chords, and I've gone on from there. But like I must admit, I hadn't realised it. You know, it was me who kind of gave you that opportunity in that sense. But let's pause for a moment because I'm just laughing at Paul's question. This is very important. There we go.
I think it was more ginger.
Yeah, it's more like kind of white patches now, isn't it? I was kind of looking on the screen a little bit. There we go. Thanks.
You've always had a skinhead.
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 Yeah, I like to try and keep the ginger fro quite short and under control side of things. How's this gone from worship leading into like Dave's fashion kind of style choices, which clearly
these are important questions.
Okay.
These are the important questions.
So to answer Paul's question, yes, I did have hair back then, but I've always kept it really short. There is a great picture of me when I was about 15, 16. No, I must have been 16 because I'd left school going to sixth form. And I had a little Spanish acoustic. I think my mum's still got this, picture somewhere still. Ma Dixon, you met her on another episode. Well worth checking out. I had a little Spanish acoustic I was learning on. And I had a mullet and a half. My hair tends to go. I try to grow it long. Tends to go down to about here and then go out sideways. But then all the time it's growing high. So I was about 6'8" with ginger mullet up here and tiny little kind of almost. I don't know what they were, just kind of sticky out bits. So it wasn't a good look. I tried to look rock and roll, but it didn't happen.
I need to see this.
No,
I actually need to see this in real life.
Maybe one day, but yeah, let's move on from that horrific image and trying to be rock and roll.
Do a vote. Everyone needs to come and do it, and then he has to do it.
I might try and dig it out. I'll see if I can get Mar Dixon to find it or whatever. It's just burning into my memory. That's the thing. So it's so important because I was given an opportunity to get involved by somebody to take it, and I know that you're really passionate about this as well. One of the things that you mentioned in the lead up tonight is that you wanted to talk about your involvement with the youth band and developing the youth band, and it'd be great to hear about that in a moment. But I think it's so important that young people in particular, because I was young once, I know it was a long time ago, but are giving people, or even older people, because we're never too, old to learn, and we want to, give people opportunities, whatever their gifting is, but obviously we're focusing on music side of things, to be able to have a go, but in a supportive way in doing that, because obviously the last thing that we want to do is for anybody to embarrass themselves and to find a negative experience, and it, like anything else, it needs to be handled well. So why don't you tell us then? Because I know this is something that in particular you wanted to mention. Why don't you tell us a bit more about your involvement with kind of looking on and developing the youth band, really, that you've had some involved with?
Yeah. So just to start with, I am not the greatest musician ever. I can play the piano I can play, but I'm not the greatest musician. And I was in Bethany City Church, and we're in a meeting talking about how to start maybe an evening service, how to get the youth more involved and things like that, and how we would do the worship and stuff. And then I just kind of, without even realising I said it, didn't know I said it until I said it, and I went, we'll just do a youth band, sort of thing. And then next thing you know, I'm at the front of church saying, any of the youth want to join a youth band? You don't have to play an instrument, just come and join.
All right.
And then
okay.
Then after that service, I had my little sidekick who's one of my really best friends over in Sunderland, Adam, and I was like, Adam, we're starting a youth band. You're kind of going to be with us. It's not an option. You're doing it, sort of thing. And then after that service, I had loads of the youth signing up and stuff, and they're like, we'll do singing, we'll do this, we'll do that. And then from there, on a Thursday, we would meet up together and we would learn how to play songs, choose songs that we wanted to do. And my focus really was on talking about what is worship and how it's not a performance.
Yeah.
And that's what we really, really stressed all the time. Every rehearsal, every time we led worship, it's not a performance. We're doing this for God. We're doing this for for worship. This is not a performance. And we just kept saying that to the point where we learned the song This Is Not a Performance by, I think it's by Hillsong. Do you know which one I'm on about?
Hang on. I've got it queued up because we said every time we'll mention like a worship leader or another organisation, we need to have the honk. There we go. Thank you. So that was rather loud. Let me turn that down. So I don't know the song actually. Who's it by?
I'm pretty sure it's by Hillsong.
Thank you. There we go. I'll set them up. There we go.
But I'll just go back a bit and say that Bethany City Church to me was a very I used to say it was an older style church compared to what I was used to, because I came straight from the Vine, left the Vine to go to like Sunderland University, and then got involved in Bethany City Church, who still sang hymns, and they do modern music as well, don't get me wrong, they do, but they still do a lot of like the hymns and stuff. And at the time, being an 18-year-old girl, I was like, I don't do hymns. Oh, they need to do modern stuff. I don't like hymns. Don't like it. And then as my time was there and it developed, I ended up loving hymns.
Yeah.
And I love hymns sometimes more than the modern stuff.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah. So then they kind of developed, and we just started like an evening service, and the youth band would lead the evening worship, and then we started once a month leading the Sunday service, and stuff, and then we actually played in other places as well. We got asked to go to Bethany Hortonley Spring, which was the sister church. We played there, and we played in a couple of other places as well, and we led worship for an event that happened with like Churches Together event. We would lead the worship for that, for churches around Sunderland and stuff. So it was
yeah, absolutely. Don't you read them out before I put them on screen. Don't you be doing my job. Thank you. But Adam's joined us. Is this the Adam you referred to earlier?
This is
your partner in crime here?
Adam. Yeah, my little partner in crime.
Everybody, big shout out and love to Adam. Okay, obviously you like a good hymn now, according to Adam. Is that right?
Yeah, so me and Adam our house group always sat on the front row. We made it a thing that we sat on the front row and not hid in the back. Yeah. And me and Adam would stand next to each other and try and find as many harmonies as possible to the hymns on a Sunday morning. It was great.
Brilliant. So let me pick up on that then, because obviously you've and we said it a number of times in these episodes that there's only one church, and that's God's church, and there are lots of flavours of that, and how churches or groups, let's call them a church, live out the Bible and how they come together and express their worship, really. Okay, and so obviously you had the opportunity. You said before you knew it, you kind of came out your mouth, let's start a youth band with Adam as well. You're doing this. You didn't really give him a choice. You just kind of roped him in. And but I'm guessing, that actually the leadership of the church were all behind this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had the opportunity. Oh, I love that awkward face. Is that and that delayed answer? All right, okay. Tell us the circumstances there then. Be careful though, because obviously the last thing that we want to do is bash any churches. Because to be honest, in all seriousness, there is no perfect church, and if you find one, don't go to it because you'll mess it up. All right, and so
I'm not gonna say too much, but I'm gonna say that there was a few challenges I had to face. Well, me and Adam together, because I think I would have really struggled without Adam. We have to face.
All right, so let's carefully do this. Were those challenges with the leadership of the church?
With some leadership.
Some of them, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And was it around, because this is where my experience is as well, was it around kind of like the style of music and what you wanted to bring as youth to how you presented the music side of things? Or was it something different?
No, it wasn't so much the music side of things. Some people just didn't see why we were doing it.
Okay.
And just were like, well, there's a youth club on a Wednesday. like why are you doing it? So it was like fighting all the time, like
Okay.
why I was doing it.
So it was a real challenge then, and
Yeah,
like you say, with some people, and that whether they're in leadership or not, actually, you can always have a challenge. And it's interesting. I've always say how people can view worship, songs, and things like that, and treat it almost like the X Factor, you know. And I've had it before. I've had an experience where, um, people thought I like that worship leader, or I don't like when they lead, or I like that preacher, I like when they speak, but I don't like them, kind of stuff. And that's the real challenge. And it's wrong. It's an attitude we should all check in ourselves. And I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not excluding myself in that, because I've turned up and I've seen a certain person. I thought, oh, right, and I understand that people connect with different people in different ways, and particularly when it comes to styles of music and song choices and things like that. So you had a bit of a challenge then, obviously, with some people in the leadership and stuff. How did you overcome that challenge then? What did you need to do?
um, I'd, how did I overcome it? It's hard to explain, but I just did. I just did.
So you
I
got Adam to
just
do it, is what you're saying. You got Adam to sort it out.
no, I did. Yeah.
All right. So
So
did you?
we worked together. We
Yeah.
really worked together, me and Adam. And things like there was a lot of people on our side. So because there was quite a lot of people on our side, that really helped.
Okay.
A lot of prayer. I mentioned the home group before. We would pray for the youth band like every week in the home group, and like people just there was the lot of people in the church loved it when the youth um led the worship and
Okay.
stuff.
So let me
Um,
summarise then, Hannah. So it was a battle that needed prayer, definitely.
yeah,
You had to be persistent, because I'm
yeah.
guessing it wasn't solved overnight.
Oh no.
No, it was a process, took a while. Um, and then, some were on side, quite a lot were on side. Those that were making the decision makers, the team, some were, some weren't. And you had to kind of persist with that, and because you felt it was the right thing to do, and others felt it was the right thing to do, and eventually you
Yeah,
got the opportunity.
yeah,
Okay. How did you? So you mentioned a lot about really hammering that point of it's not a performance with the youth team. Um, it's not a performance, not a performance, not a performance, and I agree totally. Because obviously our motivation is to point people towards Jesus and focus on Jesus, and we're helping them do that through the music we're presenting, not pointing them at us, which is a performance. That's the difference, and I think that's the difference between your musical theatre. I'm in a a 60s, 50s, 60s band, and that is a performance. That's where we have fun and stuff like that and enjoy party. But this is very different. I agree to leading worship, which we both do regularly. So you got to this point then. I'm interested then. So how did you prepare the band then in terms of song choices? Because if I go back a little bit here, Rachel's joined us tonight, and she asked that question, which is a similar one we had last week to Helen, and it's an interesting one. How did you go about choosing with the team the songs that you were going to do? Which was the Sunday evening you said at first, wasn't it?
yeah. So the Sunday evening, we would. I at the time wanted to try and do more what you would class as more like contemporary music, so your more modern music rather than what we normally heard on a Sunday morning, which was your hymns.
Right.
Because the idea with the Sunday evening, or as I like to call it, night church, and that's what I called it all the time. It was night church.
Okay.
What I like doing with what we tried to do with the night church was to introduce a more relaxed, more modern style of
Okay.
worship, a style that quite a lot of the youth in the church had not experienced before. They had only experienced like we stand up, we sing a hymn, we sit down, we stand up, we sing a hymn, we sit down, the yo-yo kind of
Okay.
service. Um, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all, because I was in the church for 5 years and I absolutely love the church,
Yeah,
like Bethany said.
it's that flavour again, isn't it? It's that flavour of how
Yeah,
wanted to express worship that way. Yeah, okay. So you wanted to do it a different way, different flavour, different style.
Just introduce like a new sort of way. When it came to picking songs, it was kind of songs that like sometimes the youth would say, "Oh, can we do this one? Or can we do that one?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, let's throw them in." But then it's like it was trying to work out an order to do them in within the service, and it's sometimes I think it's quite hard because you know yourself, Dave. When you come to lead, you're like, "Oh, I need an opening song. What's a good song that will open a service, sort of thing." Um, well, you know
What
what
are
I
you
mean.
looking for then when in a good opening song? What do you mean by that?
To me, it's like a happy, clappy, woohoo, we're here
Yeah.
kind of song. Like you don't just within like the service and stuff, you don't just go straight to a well, I don't know why you could, but you don't just go straight into like a slow kind of song. You always have like a happy clappy opening song, and I don't know if that's just because that's how we do it, but you tend to always have them. You know what I'm on. You might be able to explain what I mean a lot better.
Yeah, there's a model, isn't there? If we're looking for a model, like, and that's what
Yeah,
I love about God. There's no hard and fast rules because every time we try and pin God down to a formula, A plus B equals C, this plus this equals worship. God just breaks out with that. So I love it when he just smashes formulas because we can't contain God in our own thinking. But there is a model in the Bible where they talk about it's tent worship, and so
yeah,
you enter the courts. It says with thanksgiving, with praise, okay, and then you once you're in your courtyards and you're focusing, then you're welcomed into the holy of holies, where only the most high anointed kind of dude at the time could enter once a year, kind of stuff. Now because of the cross, all of that special access has been ripped open and everybody has that special access. So that's what the model is in the Bible often, is praise, God, about God's character, loud, thankful, and then focusing then as we journey in, as we focus into God, into that intimate holy of holy place where then the songs become more intimate, and obviously the Holy Spirit can kind of minister to us. So that's one way that's often talked about in terms of worship and
yeah.
songs and things like that and actions.
But when with the youth band, the way we used to pick them is, well, to start off with, we only knew like 5 songs,
Yeah, practicalities.
and they
Yeah,
were all in the same key,
yeah,
and they all flowed in nicely to each other. So that's how we started. We started off with 5 songs, and it was 5 songs that I thought these are 5 quite really easy, quite like easy songs to play. You only need to know 3 or 4 chords or 3 or 4 notes. And when I say a youth band, I'm not just on about like a guitar, a bass player, a drummer, and like someone playing the piano. I'm on about trumpets as well.
oh, brass
Um,
section, nice.
yeah, so sometimes one of the youth. I had a flute player at one point. I had someone on the saxophone at one point. I'm on about like a lot of different talents that the youth had, like thrown together, sort of thing.
Yeah,
And kind of, right, this is the skill we've got. We've got these brass players who are absolutely unbelievable at music, can pick any instrument up, and are like doing their grades, and like on grade 5, 6, 7, and whatever. And then I've got these other players who have never played before, so let's just teach them how to play a few chords and let's go from there, sort of
how
thing.
did
And
you
then
manage that then? How did you practically, so you've got established musicians who've done progressed all through grades and things like that. I've heard of grades. I've never gone through any myself. I'm a guitarist, so I don't read those squiggly dot things or anything like that. And then you have those who, because you gave the shout out, you gave out the invitation. They had those who were very new to playing any instrument and things.
I
So
was so I was so lucky because I really was so lucky because I would print off the music with like the lyrics on and then the chords above, like the typical like cord piece of paper, and then the people who played the brass would come along with their iPads, who had prepaid apps that they could get the trumpet music and all the right keys
Yeah.
for them to play along. But then it was a case of, right, how do we build the song? Because we can't all just come in together. And what we really worked on was our beginnings and our endings. How did we start and how did we end? And then the middle just happened,
Yeah.
sort of thing. We would go over sections by sections. Adam would take the singers off and do singing. My like, you know what it's like. You give somebody an instrument, they automatically tinkle and play them, which was really quite frustrating when you're trying to talk and teach and stuff. But we just made it happen. We would just work individually, and then we would listen to a song, and then we would always start off with like a prayer, and then we would just go and do it, and it just kind of happened.
It just kind of happened. You're
Yeah.
making it sound very, very easy. It
No.
wasn't. No.
No.
That's a very nice, kind of rosy summary of what I can, imagine the challenges of that being around, because, you've got so many different elements there that you need to manage. And, obviously your partner in crime, Adam, had a lot to do with that as well, and managing that together. So you spent time preparing, okay? How was it received by the rest of the church when you got there as the team and led? Did you do the vocal kind of leading? Or,
Yeah, so
yeah?
originally I was going to play the keys, but then like different youth wanted to play the keys, so I let them. So then I would rearrange the stage on a Sunday morning, which I wasn't thanked for. And I would put the four singers, because there was four of us singing, in the front in a line, and then I would stand in the middle so everyone can sort of see. And then I would have little signals
Yeah.
that people could like copy and stuff. So like this would be like time to end,
Yeah.
or we might go to bridge,
Yeah.
or we might need to repeat.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I led with my voice. But we tend to, because of the way the Sunday services kind of worked, we kind of kept to the same order of songs like every time. So we kind of stuck to it, rather than like when you have a group of like complete professional like musicians that can kind of follow each other. We kind of had so many different levels that we kind of just we played the order.
Yeah, you had the
But we
song
did,
structure. You followed the structure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if we were going to change things and add things, then we did hand signals.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So there was that fluency and the flexibility, but that takes time in itself to learn, obviously, and have the confidence
Yeah.
to do that. How was it? How did people respond then? How did the congregation respond to, the times that the youth band got up and led worship?
Oh, they absolutely loved it. The church, to this day, I still get people messaging me saying like, I've got one friend who keeps saying Hannah with the golden voice, and keeps asking me to come back and do like the youth band and stuff, and we would do it like once a month, and in between I would have people saying, "Oh, is the youth band coming? Are the youth band singing? Are the youth band doing it?" And I'd be like, "No, not yet."
So
And
well
I
received
think
by
it
the
was,
sounds of things.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was just quite refreshing and new.
yeah. So obviously people were keen for it to happen, and when it did, they were really pleased and really, complimentary.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say so.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Was there any opposition, or did they just keep quiet because you've done such a good job?
Um, Quite a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people. Some people said we should have just been a part of the normal band. Um, but that wasn't the idea about it. The idea was that we got the youth together
Mm.
and grow as a family, like this youth to grow as a family. Because yes, they're in the church, but they're growing. This is how do I phrase this? This is going to be their family. This is who they're growing up with. This is
Yeah.
this is their generation. So it's like them to grow together in their faith together on the same stages, like together, sort of thing, and to explore this worship as one family. So
Yeah.
like we were like a youth group like a youth band family sort of thing.
And
Um,
from then, have the people who were in the or the youth in the youth band, have they continued to kind of develop their musical skills? Have they continued to play a part in worship teams, not just the youth band, but the worship team of the church and things like that?
I believe, unfortunately, I kind of, when I moved churches, because it's a bit of a different story, but I'll touch on it a tiny bit and then I'll move on. But basically, after 5 years, God was saying, right, I've got different plans for you. It's
Yeah.
time for you to move churches. I need you in somewhere else. That's how I came to Embrace. You asked us to lead worship one week because you were away, and then God was like, "This is your new home," sort of thing. So
Hmm.
unfortunately, when you move churches, I kind of not lost contact because I'm still friends with
Yeah.
lots of people, but I believe the youth band just kind of joined the
Yeah.
normal band. I believe that's kind of what happened.
So that's good. They've
Not,
transitioned. Then they've
yeah,
continued the opportunity, and let's appreciate that, because they wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for you and obviously Adam as well, pushing for the opportunity to do so. And just to let Adam obviously contribute his, it's a pity we should have got Adam on screen as well. That would have been interesting. But then into the kind of adult band as well, and obviously, yeah, because it is seasons. It is, you've moved on, and obviously young people, some of which go to university and things like that. But you've given that opportunity, you've provided that, and obviously developing them, and alongside Adam guiding them to be able to do that. And I think that's really, really important, that that you've done an amazing job with that. And I think that's something that you can, in a good way, be very proud of, that you've had a part in their journeys to do that. And and I'm reflecting on the people who've had a part on my journey and given me opportunity, like I say, when I was much younger, and helped me develop. Not that I'm the finished product, none of us ever are. Who helped me to develop, continue to do that as well. But certainly there were certain people, they're just going through my head in the moment, who were influential. From the original guy who showed me the chords on the guitar, how to play it, to another guy who was very instrumental in how to play in a band and the opportunities to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, as I expected, the time has gone very, very quickly, and it's a couple of minutes. Well, it's 1 minute to 9. So there is just so much more we could talk about, of course. But I do want to finish with the way that I finished with the other 2 episodes, and by putting you on the spot and doing the Desert Island kind of discs kind of thing. And I want you to name 3 of your all-time favourite worship bangers that you couldn't kind of survive without, that you would have only 3 on your Desert Island disc, and that could be from any time, any, whatever, that have really, if you like, connected with you, you really, obviously expressed maybe a season or time, particular thoughts.
This is so hard because literally, like, honestly, like worship and stuff is just such a huge part of my life. Like every time I'm down with grandma's, you were guaranteed I'm on that piano singing my heart out to worship songs, or guaranteed in my house, even my mum's house, we have worship music blaring. So this is really hard.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of thinking time. Let me just start wrapping up for
Right,
tonight. Oh,
definitely got one.
definitely got one. Go on and tell us.
God be the glory. I absolutely adore that hymn, and it's
To
like
God be the glory,
favorite.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah. Good
absolutely
choice.
love it.
So Adam was right. Adam was right. Then you do love a good hymn now.
Oh, I love the hymns. I love the hymns.
And just to prove, he did call that one. I'm going to put his comment back on the screen. There we go. He did call it. You love a good hymn. So God be the glory. Yeah, good choice.
The Mighty Cross. I love that song.
Which one's that? Who's that by?
I don't know, people. I just know the names. Hang on, I'll go on my playlist. It's called God Tunes. It's okay. I'll go on my playlist.
You got your playlist there right in front of you, well prepared.
Elevation Worship.
Oh, hang on. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Good tune.
And then
So there's two. Have you got a third one?
I'm gonna say my baptism song, which was 10,000 Reasons.
Yeah. Who's it by?
Is it by Matt Redmond?
Spot on. It is. Yeah, you're right. There we go. Okay. Oh, put you on the spot there. So amazing. As it's been this last hour, just you are, like you said, bubbly, and able to do so many different things. Considering, you said earlier right at the beginning that you didn't have much of a self-confidence about your own voice, and that you compare yourself to your sister Rebecca, Becky, whatever, Mrs. Ramsden, Becca.
I call her Becca.
Becca. All right. But you've still got somebody who keeps texting you calling you the golden voice and things like that. So that should be encouragement on that side of things. And you can see, and this is why I wanted to focus on this tonight in particular. You can see in the work that you do for a living, nursery manager, deputy manager, and involvement there. And you've done that for many years. You can see that you've also done some children's work as well in different places, and the way that you interact with kids and youth. That you are a person who wants to see youth given opportunities and develop, which is key. And so that's why I thought it was a really good opportunity to focus on that tonight in particular. And then the challenges of bringing temperamental musicians together, and battling where needed. Some, if you like, the reluctance, shall we say, of those who make the decisions in church, sometimes to have a reluctance to give youth the opportunity. And I must admit, I experienced the same thing when, in the church that I grew up, where, I took the opportunity to have my Marshall T-shirt on and wear a cap in a service. Oh dear, never mind the guitar playing, the cap upset a lot of people at the time, and I respect that. I'm older and more mature now, believe it or not, and I have a bit more perspective on things. But at the time, I didn't. But anyway, I'm so pleased that you can join us. I've really enjoyed it, and I do know the three worship bangers have been, are always a challenge, and it always puts people on the spot. And I must admit, like I said to Helen last week, I don't know if I could answer it. I think Diane here has joined us and commented, which is great, has just kind of summed up what we're trying to say here. And this, be encouraged by this. There we go. That you are beautiful inside and out and with a gracious heart. And we can see that. Those of you who know Hannah see that every single day. So, thank you for all that you do. Not just within Embrace, you do a lot there, but, beyond as well. And, thank you for your heart, really, in the way that you lead worship. And that's what it is. You're a lead worshipper. You inspire others, and to focus and to worship focus their attention on God, on Jesus. So, and that's great. It's what it's all about. Have you enjoyed it? Has it been okay?
Yeah, I feel like, because it's such an important topic, I could talk for a Netflix series on it.
But we said we're just going to do one.
But we are only going to do one, that's fine. But if anybody has any questions or anything, I'm totally happy to go back through the feed and stuff.
Yeah.
And answer them. If we haven't covered what they've asked or anything.
Yeah, please. Yeah. So like Hannah's saying, if you do want to get in touch, I'll put the social media channels on and different ways that you can get in touch with us on screen. But if you do want to comment, obviously we will go through them, and Hannah can kind of respond in particular. If you do want to get in touch in different ways, Hannah, it's been amazing. I'm just gonna go back to focus so I can show the social media channels on my
fine.
So thank you ever so much. You've been amazing. I'm going to just pop you back onto the other monitor so I can see you, but just so I can go through and say that we do have, obviously, as Embrace Church, we do have our website, and on there is a contact form. So if you do want to drop a message in that way, then we'd love to connect with you. We'd love to, just chat more with you. And if you want to know more, then please just get in touch. You can, of course, and many of you have found your way to the Embrace Church Facebook page, so please do that way. Obviously as well, we do have a YouTube channel and Twitter and so on. You can find all of those on there. Please do get in touch. Thanks everyone for your comments tonight. Next week we have another worship leader called Lynn Gowland, who's from the Bay Church in Whitley Bay. I've known Lynn for a few years now through the Burn worship, 24/7 Burn kind of worship movement, which we'll find out more next week. So if you can, then tune in, obviously next week at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. Just to advance notice, that'll be the last week for a couple of weeks after that in August, because it's we're going to call it Factory Fortnight. We're going on holiday basically, so we won't be doing that, and we'll be back later on in August for a new series all about people who are leading, church-based, Christian-based organisation in the area. Doing different things. So once again, thank you very, very much to Hannah. She's been amazing as expected. My name's Dave Dixon. I'm part of the Embrace Church leadership team, and have been involved for many years with worship leading and being in worship teams. And like Hannah says, it's just an absolute honour. Again, it's been great to see, as part of the Von Jackson family, Hannah grow and develop and continue to do so. And, so it's amazing to see, obviously her in action, and the Von Traps / Von Jacksons. So have a good week. We'll catch you next week, 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night. Take care, people. Thank you. Bye-bye.